Welcome, dear friends, to a gentle journey through 140 fascinating facts about Guardians of the Galaxy, the vibrant and whimsical corner of the Marvel Universe that blends heart, humor, and action in a way only James Gunn could envision. From its iconic soundtrack that fills the air with nostalgia to its lovable band of misfit heroes, Guardians of the Galaxy has captured the hearts of audiences around the world. Tonight, we will drift through the stories of how these unforgettable characters came to life, the magic behind the special effects, and the legacy of this beloved franchise. From Star-Lord to Groot, Rocket to Gamora, we'll explore the little details that made these characters and their adventures so remarkable, all while the soothing rhythm of the universe gently carries us through. As you settle into your space tonight, let your breathing slow and your body soften into the quiet of the evening. There's no need to rush, no need to strain. Just let yourself relax and allow these fascinating facts to lull you into a peaceful rest. And if you enjoy drifting through stories like this, you're always welcome to subscribe and softly share where you're listening from tonight. Now, let's begin our journey and allow the Guardians to lead you into a night of restful sleep. Fact 1. The journey of Guardians of the Galaxy began when Marvel Studios hired James Gunn, a director known for his quirky style and unique storytelling. Unlike most other Marvel films, Gunn approached this movie with a sense of humor and heart, blending action with emotional depth. It wasn't just about the visual spectacle, but about the characters and their personal growth, making the film stand out from the rest of the MCU. Fact 2. The film's primary cast, made up of Star-Lord, Chris Pratt, Gamora, Zoe Saldana, Drax, Dave Bautista, Rocket, Bradley Cooper, and Groot, Vin Diesel, is often called the most unlikely superhero team. These characters, full of flaws, provide a refreshing break from the usual hero archetypes. Their bond is built on mutual respect and a shared sense of isolation, which made them incredibly relatable to audiences. Fact 3. One of the most iconic elements of Guardians of the Galaxy is its soundtrack. Titled Awesome Mix Volume 1, it features songs from the 1970s and 1980s, giving the film a nostalgic feel. The soundtrack became a chart-topping success, and the use of classic rock songs in the film helped to shape the tone of the movie, making it feel like a cinematic time capsule while keeping everything fresh and energetic. Fact 4. The character of Groot, a towering tree-like creature who can only say, "I am Groot," was voiced by Vin Diesel. Interestingly, Diesel recorded the phrase, "I am Groot," over 1,000 times to get the perfect emotional tone for each delivery. The simplicity of the phrase contrasts with Groot's deep connection to his friends, especially when his actions speak louder than words. Fact 5. Rocket, the genetically modified raccoon, was another character brought to life by digital effects. Despite being a CGI creation, Rocket was infused with so much personality that audiences couldn't help but feel connected to him. His sarcastic humor and sense of vulnerability, often hidden beneath his tough exterior, made him one of the most endearing characters in the film. Fact 6. Chris Pratt, who portrayed Star-Lord, underwent a remarkable physical transformation for the role. Before landing the part, he was known for his comedic roles in TV shows like Parks and Recreation and was not seen as a typical action star. However, he committed to an intense fitness regimen, shedding around 60 pounds in 6 months to get into superhero shape. His dedication paid off, bringing an incredible energy and charm to the character. Fact 7. One of the most touching moments in Guardians of the Galaxy happens toward the end of the movie when Groot sacrifices himself to protect his friends. His famous line, "We are Groot," resonates deeply with viewers because it showcases the true meaning of friendship and selflessness. This powerful moment is a reminder that strength often comes from caring for others, even at great personal cost. Fact 8. While much of the film's success can be attributed to its character driven storytelling, the visual effects also played a key role. The film's imaginative designs, particularly the outer space environments, were brought to life by the same team that worked on Avatar. The futuristic worlds feel tangible and alive thanks to the detailed artistry that immersed the audience in a world of color and imagination. Fact 9. The character of Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, was originally written to be more of a stereotypical villain. However, Saldana's performance, combined with James Gunn's direction, transformed her into a strong, nuanced character with a complex backstory. Her journey of redemption is a central theme throughout the film, and her connection with Star-Lord adds emotional depth to the story. Fact 10. James Gunn, known for his dark humor and love for eccentric characters, took a big risk with Guardians of the Galaxy. At the time of its release, the idea of a film about obscure comic book characters was considered a gamble. However, Gunn's unique vision and the film's mix of humor, heart, and action turned it into a massive success, proving that even the most unconventional superheroes could find a place in the hearts of moviegoers. Fact 11. The Guardians of the Galaxy film introduced the concept of the cosmic side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, which was previously unexplored in other MCU films. This fresh perspective brought vibrant alien worlds, celestial beings, and new lore to the screen, expanding the universe in unexpected ways. The film's success led to other cosmic Marvel stories, including the introduction of characters like Captain Marvel and the exploration of the cosmic conflicts that shape the MCU's future. Fact 12. Chris Pratt's portrayal of Star-Lord, a mix of humor and vulnerability, was heavily influenced by the character's comic book roots. However, Pratt's performance added a layer of warmth and charm that made the character unique. Star-Lord's quick wit and sense of adventure are central to his appeal, and Pratt's portrayal resonated with audiences because it felt both authentic and fun. His portrayal turned Star-Lord into one of Marvel's most beloved characters, mixing heroism with an easygoing nature. Fact 13. The movie's opening sequence, where Star-Lord dances to the tune of "Come and Get Your Love" by Redbone, became an instant cultural phenomenon. It perfectly set the tone for the entire film, showcasing Star-Lord's quirky, carefree personality. The song, which became synonymous with the movie, was carefully chosen to reflect the character's rebellious spirit and playful nature. It also gave viewers a glimpse into the film's lighthearted, fun-filled approach to space adventures. Fact 14. The visual effects team behind Guardians of the Galaxy was tasked with bringing some of the most imaginative, outlandish concepts to life, and they did so beautifully. From the colorful, pulsating worlds of the Nova Corps to the detailed designs of the alien landscapes, the film's visuals were praised for their creativity and attention to detail. One of the most challenging elements was creating the character of Rocket, a CGI raccoon who was given such a complex personality that viewers felt an emotional connection to him. Fact 15. Rocket's visual design was highly sophisticated. To create a raccoon that looked real, yet had human like expressions, animators used a mix of motion capture, reference footage of real raccoons, and advanced CGI techniques. Rocket's eyes, in particular, were designed to convey emotions such as sadness, anger, and joy, making him feel like a fully realized character, not just a computer generated creation. This attention to detail helped Rocket become one of the film's standout characters. Fact 16. Bradley Cooper, the actor who voiced Rocket, did not just record his lines in a studio. Instead, he worked closely with the animators, providing performance capture for Rocket's expressions and movements. This added a layer of authenticity to Rocket's character, allowing his personality to shine through in every scene. Cooper's emotional performance helped bring Rocket to life, showing that a CGI character could be as emotionally complex and endearing as any live action one. Fact 17. The relationship between Star-Lord and Gamora was one of the emotional core pieces of the film. Initially, they were rivals, each with their own personal agenda. However, as the film progressed, they began to form a deep, mutual respect for one another, ultimately leading to a complex and heartfelt partnership. Their bond provided emotional depth, as both characters struggled with their pasts and found solace in one another. This relationship became a central element of the Guardians franchise moving forward. Fact 18. Drax the Destroyer, portrayed by Dave Bautista, was another character who underwent significant development throughout the film. Initially introduced as a vengeful, emotionless warrior, Drax's complex relationship with his family's loss added depth to his character. Bautista, a former professional wrestler, brought a unique mix of strength and vulnerability to the role. His delivery of lines, which often had a deadpan seriousness, was perfectly juxtaposed with the humor of the other Guardians, making him both intimidating and endearing. Fact 19. One of the standout features of Guardians of the Galaxy was its ability to blend humor with emotional moments. The film didn't just rely on action sequences to carry the story. It was the characters' relationships and their growth that truly connected with audiences. The movie's ability to balance comedy with heart made it both entertaining and emotionally resonant. Each Guardian had a personal arc that contributed to the group dynamic, making their journey feel like a genuine, shared experience. Fact 20. The film's success wasn't just due to its character driven storytelling or its visual spectacle, it also benefited from its carefully crafted dialogue. James Gunn's writing was filled with wit and heart, giving each character a distinct voice. Star-Lord's sarcastic humor, Rocket's sharp tongue, and Drax's literal interpretations were just a few of the ways that the script brought the characters to life. Gunn's knack for writing memorable lines made Guardians of the Galaxy a truly unique entry in the MCU. Fact 21. The design of the Guardians' ship, the Milano, was inspired by 1980s sci-fi aesthetics. The ship, named after Star-Lord's childhood crush, Alyssa Milano, reflects his nostalgic connection to Earth. With its sleek, retro design and vibrant color scheme, the Milano became an iconic symbol of the Guardians' identity. It wasn't just a mode of transportation, it was a reflection of Star-Lord's personality, a mixture of childish whimsy and adventurous spirit. The ship's role in the film was vital, often serving as a safe haven and a place where the Guardians could come together, further strengthening their bond. Fact 22. The film's art direction was heavily influenced by comic book designs, particularly from the Guardians of the Galaxy comic series by writer Dan Abnett and artist Andy Lanning. The visual tone aimed to capture the vibrancy and uniqueness of the comic's color palette and character designs. The incorporation of these elements helped to preserve the spirit of the original comics while adapting them to a film that was accessible to both fans of the source material and newcomers to the franchise. This blend of comic style visuals with a live action setting gave the film a distinct, fresh look. Fact 23. Rocket's backstory involving his genetic experimentation and the trauma he suffered was another emotional pillar of the film. Despite his tough exterior and sharp wit, Rocket's vulnerability resonated with many viewers. His pain was palpable in the way he reacted to others, pushing them away out of fear of further loss. Rocket's arc is one of growth and healing, showcasing that even the most hardened characters have hidden depths and need support from others. His journey from cynical loner to part of the Guardian's family added complexity to his character, making him more than just comic relief. Fact 24. The relationship between Rocket and Groot was one of the film's most heartwarming aspects. The duo's bond was built on mutual respect, loyalty, and a shared sense of isolation. Rocket, despite his sarcasm and sharp tongue, truly cares for Groot, and their friendship is based on a deep understanding of one another. This bond reached its emotional peak when Groot sacrifices himself to protect the Guardians, uttering the iconic line, "We are Groot." It was a moment of pure, selfless love that encapsulated the heart of the film and solidified their place as fan favorite characters. Fact 25. Zoe Saldana, who portrayed Gamora, brought an incredible depth to her character, transforming what could have been a stereotypical, tough assassin into a complex and nuanced character. Gamora's struggle with her past, particularly her relationship with her adoptive father, Thanos, was a driving force in her character's emotional journey. Throughout the film, her quest for redemption and her struggle to define her own identity were central to her arc. Saldana's performance, paired with her character's growth, helped to bring Gamora to life as one of the MCU's most compelling characters. Fact 26. The casting of Dave Bautista as Drax was a unique choice, as Bautista was primarily known for his career as a professional wrestler. However, his performance as Drax exceeded expectations, proving that physical presence alone wasn't enough to define a character. Drax's character is often seen as humorous thanks to his literal interpretations and deadpan delivery, but his backstory, having lost his family to Ronan the Accuser, adds a layer of grief and depth. Bautista brought vulnerability and emotional weight to the character, making Drax not just a powerhouse, but a tragic yet lovable figure. Fact 27. The role of Ronan the Accuser, played by Lee Pace, was initially intended to be a smaller villain. However, James Gunn saw potential in the character and worked to develop Ronan into a more complex antagonist. Ronan's rage against the universe, especially his hatred for Thanos, made him a compelling foil to the Guardians. His motivations were deeply rooted in personal loss and a desire for vengeance. Pace's intense performance as Ronan gave the character a menacing presence, adding an emotional complexity to his villainy and making him a memorable part of the film. Fact 28. The Guardian's journey through space was not just a physical one, it was also an emotional and personal journey. As they traveled together, each member grappled with their own personal demons, from Star Lord's grief over his mother's death to Gamora's struggle with her past under Thanos' control. Their connection was forged through shared experiences as they learned to trust each other despite their differences. By the end of the film, the Guardians weren't just a group of strangers, they had become a family united by loyalty, love, and a deep sense of belonging. Fact 29. James Gunn's decision to infuse Guardians of the Galaxy with humor was one of the film's defining characteristics. The humor wasn't just for comic relief, it helped to develop the characters and deepen their relationships. Star Lord's banter with his teammates, Drax's literal interpretations, and Rocket's sarcastic quips all served to lighten the tone of the film while also showcasing the characters' personalities. The humor was a key element in making the film's emotional moments resonate more powerfully, providing a balance between lightheartedness and the more serious themes of the story. Fact 30. The post credit scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy were a crucial part of the film's storytelling, as they teased future MCU films. The first scene introduced the character of Howard the Duck, a longtime Marvel character who became an unexpected fan favorite. The second scene teased the powerful cosmic villain, Thanos, reminding audiences that the events of Guardians of the Galaxy were deeply intertwined with the larger Marvel universe. These scenes helped to establish the cosmic side of the MCU and set the stage for future films, creating anticipation for what was to come. Fact 31. One of the standout features of Guardians of the Galaxy is its diverse and eclectic mix of characters. The film introduced a group of heroes who were anything but traditional. From Star-Lord, a human who spent his childhood in space, to Groot, a sentient tree, and Rocket, a genetically modified raccoon, the Guardians defied all expectations. Their differences, rather than being a hindrance, became their strength. By embracing their unique qualities, the Guardians proved that even the most unlikely group of individuals could form a family and work together toward a common goal. Fact 32. The humor in Guardians of the Galaxy was not just about jokes, it also helped to reveal the deeper layers of the characters. Star-Lord's playful and sarcastic nature is often a defense mechanism for the grief he carries from losing his mother at a young age. Gamora, though often serious and stoic, shows glimpses of warmth as she bonds with her new family. Rocket's sarcasm is rooted in his deep-seated pain from his genetic experiments, while Drax's humor hides the deep sorrow of losing his family. Each character's humor speaks to their emotional depth, making them more relatable. Fact 33. The character of Groot, who can only say the phrase "I am Groot," is one of the most beloved in the Guardians franchise. His simple phrase carries immense emotional weight, depending on the context in which it's said. Vin Diesel, who voiced Groot, recorded the line over 1,000 times to convey different emotions, despite the limited vocabulary. This dedication helped to elevate Groot from a one-dimensional character to one with depth and personality. His ability to communicate through body language and tone made him an unforgettable part of the team, and his sacrifice in the film is a deeply moving moment. Fact 34. The film's use of special effects was groundbreaking, particularly in how it brought the colorful and imaginative universe to life. The film's celestial environments, such as the Nova Corps' headquarters and the expansive void of space, were all meticulously crafted to create an immersive and vibrant world. The visual effects team worked tirelessly to ensure that the alien planets felt lived in and realistic while still maintaining a sense of wonder. The film's visual aesthetic drew inspiration from classic sci fi films, combining a sense of nostalgia with modern technology to create a unique and a timeless look. Fact 35: James Gunn, who wrote and directed Guardians of the Galaxy, was a big fan of the Guardians comics before taking on the film. His love for the source material helped shape the film into something that both fans of the comics and newcomers could enjoy. He was determined to stay true to the heart of the comic while making the film accessible to a wider audience. Gunn's humor, heart, and distinct style resonated through every frame of the movie, making it stand out as one of the most unique entries in the MCU. Fact 36: The role of Thanos, played by Josh Brolin, was integral to the film's plot, even though the character's full impact wouldn't be felt until later MCU films. In Guardians of the Galaxy, Thanos is portrayed as a menacing, power hungry figure who is responsible for manipulating the events that unfold in the movie. His presence looms large, even though his physical appearance is brief. Thanos' quest for the Infinity Stones set the stage for future films in the MCU, and his relationship with Gamora was a driving force for her character's development throughout the franchise. Fact 37: The post-credit scenes in Guardians of the Galaxy served not only as teasers for future MCU films, but also as moments of levity. One such scene introduced Howard the Duck, a character from Marvel Comics who had previously been adapted into a 1986 film. His brief appearance was a playful nod to Marvel's rich history of obscure characters, as well as a light-hearted moment that added to the film's overall sense of fun. These moments kept the audience engaged and excited for what was to come, while also allowing the film to maintain its light-hearted, humorous tone. Fact 38: The creation of the character of Ronan the Accuser was a challenging process for the filmmakers. While Ronan was originally envisioned as a traditional villain, James Gunn and Lee Pace, who played the character, worked to give him a more emotional and complex arc. Ronan's motivations were rooted in his deep-seated hatred for Thanos and his desire for vengeance. His role as the film's antagonist was integral to the plot, as he represented a darker force that the Guardians had to confront. However, his eventual defeat also symbolizes the triumph of the Guardians' unity over their individual struggles. Fact 39: One of the most emotional moments in the film occurs when Groot sacrifices himself to save the Guardians. This moment, which happens just before the final battle, is a turning point for the team. Groot, who had been a playful and somewhat misunderstood character, shows his true selflessness in this act of bravery. When he says, "We are Groot," it is not just a declaration of identity, but a statement of unity. The Guardians, who had grown from strangers to family, now stood together, their bond stronger than ever. Groot's sacrifice remains one of the most heartfelt moments in the entire MCU. Fact 40: The film's ability to balance comedy with emotional depth was a key part of its success. While Guardians of the Galaxy had plenty of laughs, it also explored themes of loss, redemption, and friendship. Star-Lord's grief over his mother's death, Gamora's struggle with her past, and Rocket's journey to accepting his flaws were all central to the story. Those emotional moments allowed the audience to connect with the characters on a deeper level, making the humor feel earned and the action scenes even more impactful. Fact 41: the inclusion of the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack was not just a thematic choice, but a major element of the film's identity. James Gunn handpicked each song to reflect the mood and character of Star-Lord, whose personal connection to his mother's music was an integral part of the story. The Awesome Mix Volume 1 helped to deepen the emotional resonance of the film. Tracks like Hooked on a Feeling and Come and Get Your Love became synonymous with the film, and the soundtrack itself went on to become a massive success, achieving chart topping status. Fact 42: in addition to its musical influence, Guardians of the Galaxy was also a visual feast, drawing inspiration from a variety of sources to create its unique, colorful aesthetic. The film's use of vivid, neon colored settings, alien landscapes, and cosmic elements was heavily influenced by 1970s and 1980s science fiction films. This retro inspired visual style brought a sense of nostalgia to the film while simultaneously giving it a modern, fresh twist. The filmmakers made sure the look of the film matched the tone, combining the fantastical with the tangible, creating a visually captivating experience for audiences. Fact 43: one of the film's more subtle yet impactful elements was its exploration of identity. Each of the Guardians struggled with their own sense of self and their place in the world. Star-Lord, for example, spent years trying to reconcile his earthly roots with his life as a space outlaw. Gamora, raised by Thanos, was constantly grappling with her own morality and desire for redemption. Rocket's self destructive tendencies were tied to his feelings of inadequacy, and Groot's quiet strength symbolized his growth. The film delicately handled these character arcs, portraying personal growth as a slow but powerful process. Fact 44: despite the Guardians of the Galaxy being known for its humor and lighthearted moments, there was a strong emphasis on themes of loss and redemption. Star-Lord's emotional journey was driven by his unresolved grief over his mother's death and his strained relationship with his father, Ego. Gamora's story was one of survival and seeking redemption for her past as Thanos' adopted daughter. Rocket, though outwardly cynical, was also grappling with deep feelings of abandonment. These themes of loss allowed the film to explore profound emotional territory, providing depth beneath the film's often comedic surface. Fact 45: Dave Bautista's portrayal of Drax the Destroyer was one of the film's most memorable performances. Bautista, a former professional wrestler, brought a raw intensity and sincerity to the character. Drax's literal interpretation of everything around him added both humor and depth, creating a character who was not only a warrior seeking vengeance, but also a deeply tragic figure. His quest for revenge against Ronan for the destruction of his family became his driving force, and Batista's portrayal made Drax a sympathetic and relatable figure, despite his intimidating appearance. Fact 46: one of the most groundbreaking aspects of Guardians of the Galaxy was its ability to seamlessly blend multiple genres. It was part space opera, part buddy comedy, part action film, and part family drama. This genre fusion made the movie stand out from other superhero films at the time. The humor helped balance the more serious moments, while the action kept the energy high. The film's pacing was expertly managed, ensuring that each genre element had room to breathe without overwhelming the viewer. This balance contributed greatly to the film's wide appeal. Fact 47. The character of Gamora, portrayed by Zoe Saldana, had one of the most complex emotional arcs in the film. As an adopted daughter of Thanos, Gamora's history was filled with violence and manipulation. Her relationship with Thanos was one of control, where he taught her to be an assassin and stripped her of her own sense of identity. Throughout the film, Gamora seeks redemption, learning to trust others, particularly the Guardians. Her evolution from a lone assassin to a loyal team member was one of the most poignant aspects of the film's storytelling. Fact 48. The film's comedic tone was often rooted in the contrast between the characters' personalities. Star-Lord's quick-witted, free-spirited nature played off against Rocket's cynicism, Drax's seriousness, and Groot's simplicity. This dynamic created a sense of camaraderie among the Guardians, despite their differences. It was through these contrasting personalities that the humor arose, often in the form of miscommunications, misunderstandings, and ironic situations. The Guardians' ability to find humor in their unlikely circumstances helped to highlight the film's themes of friendship and finding common ground, no matter how different they seemed. Fact 49. In addition to its humor and emotional depth, Guardians of the Galaxy also introduced some of the most unique and visually striking action sequences in the MCU. The battle scenes, especially those that took place in space or on alien planets, were often full of color, energy, and high-flying action. The filmmakers worked hard to create visually dynamic sequences that were both exciting and imaginative, making full use of the film's vibrant and fantastical setting. These action scenes complemented the film's lighthearted tone, adding a layer of excitement to the overall narrative. Fact 50. The film's success was also due to its ability to tap into the universal themes of belonging and family. Each Guardian had a reason to feel like an outsider, but by the end of the film, they had formed a strong, loyal team. Star-Lord's journey from lone wanderer to leader of the Guardians, Gamora's redemption, Drax's quest for revenge, Rocket's emotional growth, and Groot's selflessness all played into this overarching theme of family. The Guardians were not just a group of heroes, they were a family bound together by love, loss, and their shared experiences. Fact 51. The film's success not only came from its unique mix of humor and action, but also from its ability to create deep emotional connections between the audience and the characters. Each Guardian's backstory and personal struggles were woven into the larger narrative, creating a sense of investment in their journey. Whether it was Star-Lord dealing with the loss of his mother, Gamora's quest for redemption, or Rocket's struggle with his past, the film's ability to blend personal drama with space adventures made it resonate on an emotional level with viewers. Fact 52. The creation of the character Groot, who could only speak the phrase, "I am Groot," was a particularly interesting challenge for the filmmakers. To make Groot more than just a simple character, the filmmakers had to rely heavily on the emotional weight behind his actions and voice delivery. Vin Diesel, who voiced Groot, brought depth to the character through subtle vocal nuances, and the animators made sure Groot's body language conveyed his emotional state. His final act of self-sacrifice, where he forms a protective shield around the Guardians, is one of the most emotionally charged moments of the film. Fact 53. Rocket Raccoon, voiced by Bradley Cooper, was one of the most technically challenging characters to create. The team used motion capture technology to help bring Rocket to life, allowing for the creation of his lifelike movements and expressions. However, it wasn't just the technology that made Rocket a standout character. It was Cooper's voice performance that gave him emotional depth. Rocket's sarcastic wit and bravado often masked his vulnerability and deep rooted insecurities, which made him a multidimensional character, one who could make audiences laugh while also tugging at their heartstrings. Fact 54: the setting of Guardians of the Galaxy was unlike any other part of the MCU at the time, introducing an entirely new galaxy with planets and species that felt both familiar and alien. The filmmakers took great care in designing each location, ensuring it had its own unique look and feel. From the gleaming cityscapes of Xandar to the eerie, desolate landscape of Nowhere, the film's diverse environments were as important to the story as the characters themselves. The visuals added to the grandeur and cosmic scale of the film, making it feel like a true space adventure. Fact 55: James Gunn's direction was central to the film's success. Known for his unique voice as a filmmaker, Gunn infused the film with his quirky sense of humor, emotional depth, and love of eccentric characters. He made sure that the characters' personalities shone through, allowing each of them to have a distinct voice, while also fitting into the larger narrative. Gunn's background in indie filmmaking also helped him bring a sense of freshness to the blockbuster genre, giving the Guardians a style and tone that set it apart from other superhero films. Fact 56: one of the most notable aspects of the Guardians of the Galaxy films is the portrayal of space as a vibrant, colorful, and sometimes chaotic place. Unlike many science fiction films that depict space as dark and foreboding, Guardians of the Galaxy embraced a more playful and adventurous aesthetic. The bright neon colors of the planets and the strange, fantastical creatures helped create a sense of wonder, making the galaxy feel like a place of endless possibilities. This sense of adventure permeated the entire film, inviting audiences to explore the unknown with the Guardians. Fact 57: Groot's sacrifice in the first film is a pivotal moment, not just for the character, but for the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise as a whole. It marked a turning point for the team, as Groot's selflessness served as a powerful reminder of the bond they were forming. His rebirth as Baby Groot in the sequel provided a new layer of charm and innocence to his character, making the emotional stakes even higher. Groot's journey from a stoic, tree like protector to a vulnerable baby is a symbolic reflection of the Guardians' own growth as a family. Fact 58: the film's humor was often used as a way to break tension during more intense scenes. Drax, for example, brought humor to many moments with his literal interpretations of the world around him. His deadpan delivery, which stemmed from his inability to understand metaphors, was a source of many of the film's funniest moments. At the same time, Drax's grief over his lost family added layers to his character, showing that his humor was a coping mechanism. This balance of humor and tragedy made Drax a character both funny and tragic in equal measure. Fact 59: the success of Guardians of the Galaxy paved the way for other cosmic Marvel films. Following the Guardians' success, characters like Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel were introduced, each bringing their own unique cosmic elements to the MCU. The Guardians made space adventure more accessible, combining humor, heart, and action in a way that appealed to both casual moviegoers and longtime comic fans. By establishing that the MCU could venture into cosmic storytelling, Guardians of the Galaxy opened the door for new characters and new stories that would expand the universe even further. Fact 60. In addition to the characters and visual effects, one of the standout elements of Guardians of the Galaxy was its emotional complexity. The film wasn't just about space battles and explosions. It was about a group of broken individuals finding family and connection in the most unlikely of places. Each of the Guardians had their own emotional baggage and traumas, and as they came together, they learned to rely on one another. The theme of found family was one of the most powerful aspects of the film, resonating deeply with audiences who saw themselves in the characters' struggles and triumphs. Fact 61. The Guardians of the Galaxy films are often praised for their strong emotional core, despite being set in a fantastical universe filled with talking raccoons and sentient trees. At the heart of the story is the theme of personal growth, especially in terms of emotional vulnerability. Star-Lord's journey from a cocky, self-absorbed thief to a leader who cares deeply for his team is one of the film's central arcs. His growth parallels the development of the other Guardians, each of whom learns to let go of past hurts and accept others into their lives. Fact 62. One of the key ingredients to the film's success was its ability to tap into a sense of nostalgia. The use of classic songs from the 1970s and 1980s in the awesome Mix Volume 1 soundtrack not only gave the film an instantly recognizable vibe, but also connected with audiences on a deeper emotional level. These songs were an extension of Star-Lord's character, his personal history with his mother, and his connection to Earth, something that had been lost to him during his time in space. The soundtrack served as a bridge between Star-Lord's past and present. Fact 63. Rocket's personality was heavily shaped by his past experiences. As a genetically modified raccoon who was subjected to cruel experiments, Rocket carried deep scars, both physically and emotionally. His sarcastic, brash attitude was a defense mechanism against the pain and abandonment he had suffered. However, beneath his rough exterior, Rocket is deeply loyal and capable of immense love. His character is one of the most complex in the film, balancing humor with vulnerability, and his emotional journey of accepting his flaws was one of the film's most touching aspects. Fact 64. The Guardians of the Galaxy film was groundbreaking in its use of motion capture technology, especially for the character of Rocket. Bradley Cooper's vocal performance as Rocket was supported by an impressive visual effects team who utilized motion capture technology to create the raccoon's lifelike movements. Rocket's facial expressions, from his mischievous smirk to his moments of sadness, were all intricately animated to match Cooper's voice, giving the character an emotional depth that resonated with the audience. The level of detail in Rocket's design was one of the key elements that made him so relatable. Fact 65. The world of Guardians of the Galaxy is rich with history and lore, much of which is explored through its diverse set of characters. For example, Gamora's backstory is steeped in tragedy, as she was adopted and raised by Thanos, the Mad Titan. Her character arc revolves around her desire for redemption, seeking to atone for the actions she committed as an assassin under Thanos' control. Her relationship with her adoptive father is fraught with pain, yet it also forms the emotional core of her character, making her struggle for autonomy one of the film's most powerful storylines. Fact 66: the relationship between Star Lord and Gamora serves as a central narrative thread in Guardians of the Galaxy. Initially, their interactions are full of tension and distrust, but over the course of the film, they begin to form a deep bond based on mutual respect. Star Lord's humor and Gamora's stern, no nonsense attitude complement each other in a way that makes their relationship both humorous and heartwarming. Their connection becomes a vital part of the film's emotional climax, especially when Star Lord's emotional vulnerability comes to the forefront during the final battle with Ronan. Fact 67: Drax the Destroyer, played by Dave Bautista, was a character who provided much of the film's humor, but his backstory is far from funny. Drax's quest for vengeance after the death of his wife and daughter at the hands of Ronan the Accuser gives him a deep and tragic motivation. Despite his lack of understanding of metaphor and sarcasm, Drax's straightforward approach to life and battle makes him one of the most honest and straightforward characters in the MCU. His pursuit of justice for his family is a driving force throughout the film, making him a complex, emotional figure. Fact 68: the creation of Guardians of the Galaxy was a daring move by Marvel, as it introduced a group of relatively obscure characters to mainstream audiences. Before the film, the Guardians were a niche comic book team, largely unknown to the general public. However, director James Gunn's vision for the film, a mix of humor, heart, and action, resonated with audiences, and the film became a massive hit. Its success opened the door for future cosmic based films within the MCU, such as Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel, proving that the Marvel Universe could expand beyond its traditional boundaries. Fact 69: the humor in Guardians of the Galaxy was often rooted in the contrast between the characters' different personalities and their reactions to the bizarre world around them. For instance, Drax's literal interpretation of language provided many comedic moments, particularly when he misinterprets common idioms. His deadpan delivery, paired with his deep personal tragedy, created a character who could both make audiences laugh and empathize with his grief. The contrast between the comedic and tragic elements of Drax's character made him one of the most compelling and complex characters in the film. Fact 70: James Gunn's personal touch was evident in the film's quirky sense of humor and its emotional core. Gunn had previously directed smaller films like Slither and Super, but Guardians of the Galaxy marked a significant step up in scale. His experience with indie films allowed him to bring a unique voice to the blockbuster genre. Gunn was able to balance the larger-than-life action sequences with intimate character moments, creating a film that was both visually stunning and emotionally resonant. His direction helped to make Guardians of the Galaxy stand out from other superhero films at the time. Fact 71: one of the most memorable aspects of Guardians of the Galaxy is its ability to combine high-stakes action with emotional depth. The film doesn't just rely on explosions and visual spectacle, though there's plenty of that. It also takes the time to explore the emotional journeys of its characters. Each Guardian is dealing with their own personal struggles and baggage, from Star-Lord's grief over his mother's death to Rocket's feelings of abandonment. The film's ability to weave these emotional threads into the larger action-packed narrative makes it a unique entry in the MCU, one that resonates deeply with audiences. Fact 72. The film's success was due in part to its ability to introduce the audience to a whole new world within the MCU, one that was full of strange creatures, planets, and alien species. The setting of Guardians of the Galaxy was unlike any other in the MCU at the time, with vibrant and colorful landscapes that were both awe inspiring and strange. The Nova Corps headquarters, the space station Nowhere, and the barren planet of Morags all served as unique backdrops to the Guardians' adventure, and the film's attention to world building helped create a truly immersive experience for the audience. Fact 73. Star-Lord's character, played by Chris Pratt, was both a hero and an anti-hero. His cocky, adventurous personality made him a natural leader, but it was his emotional vulnerability that allowed him to connect with the audience. Throughout the film, Star-Lord grapples with his sense of self-worth, especially after discovering the truth about his father. His relationship with the other Guardians helps him grow, and by the end of the film, he learns to accept his place as a leader while still holding on to the humor and fun loving spirit that made him so relatable in the first place. Fact 74. The character of Gamora, portrayed by Zoe Saldana, is more than just a fierce warrior. She is a deeply complex character who has struggled with her own identity. Raised as an assassin by Thanos, Gamora is forced to confront the dark side of her upbringing as she forms bonds with the Guardians. Her emotional arc in the film is about finding redemption, which she does through her relationships with the other Guardians, particularly Star-Lord. Her evolution from a lone assassin to someone capable of love and trust is a testament to the power of personal growth and change. Fact 75. The emotional stakes of Guardians of the Galaxy were heightened by the film's villain, Ronan the Accuser, played by Lee Pace. Ronan's hatred for Thanos and his desire for revenge are central to the conflict in the film, but his character also represents a deeper thematic element, the destructive power of rage and vengeance. Ronan's backstory is tragic, as he lost his family and his home to the Kree, which shaped his belief that he had to destroy everything around him. His pursuit of power serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked anger. Fact 76. The Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack wasn't just a collection of popular 1970s and 1980s songs, it was a character in its own right. The Awesome Mix Vol. 1 was filled with songs that not only reflected Star-Lord's character, but also helped to create a specific tone for the film. Tracks like Hooked on a Feeling and Come and Get Your Love were infused with energy and nostalgia, and they provided the perfect soundtrack for the Guardians' adventures. The soundtrack's success outside the film's release helped solidify its place as one of the most iconic film soundtracks of all time. Fact 77. The special effects in Guardians of the Galaxy were revolutionary, especially in how they brought the characters and the alien worlds to life. One of the most impressive aspects of the film was how it used CGI to create fully realized alien creatures and environments. The character of Rocket, for example, was created using a combination of motion capture and advanced CGI, which allowed him to display an impressive range of emotions. The filmmakers worked tirelessly to ensure that the visual effects didn't overshadow the story, but instead enhanced the emotional and thematic elements of the film. Fact 78. The character of Drax the Destroyer, played by Dave Bautista, was an essential part of the film's dynamic. Although Drax is a fierce warrior driven by a thirst for vengeance. His deadpan humor and literal interpretation of everything around him provided much needed levity. Drax's relationship with the other Guardians was built on mutual respect, and despite his overwhelming desire for revenge, he was not immune to the bonds of friendship. His character demonstrated that even the most hardened individuals could find healing and connection through shared experiences and a sense of belonging. Fact 79. James Gunn's approach to the Guardians of the Galaxy story was one that embraced both the absurd and the serious. Gunn, who was known for his work on Slither and Super, brought a unique sensibility to the project that combined horror, humor, and heart. The film's ability to balance its comedic elements with emotional depth made it stand out from other superhero films. Gunn's sense of timing and his ability to find humor in even the darkest of situations helped make Guardians of the Galaxy both a fun and emotionally engaging ride. Fact 80. The Guardian's journey is ultimately one of acceptance. Each character is struggling with their own sense of belonging and personal identity. Star-Lord's journey is about accepting his past and his place as a leader. Gamora's journey is about redemption and letting go of her ties to Thanos. Rocket's journey is about accepting his vulnerabilities, and Drax's journey is about healing from his family's loss. By the end of the film, the Guardians have all found something they never thought they would: a family. Their shared experiences and personal growth make them stronger as individuals and as a team. Fact 81. One of the most iconic moments in Guardians of the Galaxy comes during the final battle when the Guardians come together to defeat Ronan. This moment not only serves as a climactic action sequence, but also as a culmination of the emotional growth of each of the characters. Star-Lord, who once was a selfish and reckless loner, now leads a group of misfits who have become his family. The Guardians' collective strength, which was forged through their personal struggles and the bonds they built with one another, is what ultimately allows them to triumph over Ronan's destructive forces. Fact 82. The character of Groot has become an enduring symbol of selflessness and growth in the MCU. Despite his limited vocabulary, Groot's actions speak volumes. His transformation from a quiet and stoic character to a sacrificial hero who saves the Guardians with his selfless act is one of the most emotional moments in the film. The line, "We are Groot," signifies not just his relationship with the Guardians, but the idea that true strength comes from love, loyalty, and the willingness to put others first, no matter the personal cost. Fact 83. The relationship between Rocket and Groot is one of the most touching elements of Guardians of the Galaxy. Despite being a genetically modified raccoon with a quick temper and a tendency to push people away, Rocket's bond with Groot is built on deep affection and mutual understanding. Rocket's often gruff exterior hides his vulnerability, and it is through Groot's unwavering loyalty and selflessness that Rocket begins to open up. Their friendship demonstrates that even those who are seemingly the most cynical can form bonds that are as strong and meaningful as any other. Fact 84. Chris Pratt's performance as Star-Lord was one of the key elements that made the character so relatable and endearing. Pratt brought a unique mix of charm, wit, and emotional depth to the role. Star-Lord's humor often masked his deeper feelings of loss and insecurity, particularly regarding his mother's death and his estranged relationship with his father. Pratt's ability to balance the character's lighthearted moments with the more serious emotional beats allowed Star-Lord to feel like a real person, not just a typical superhero. His growth throughout the film, from a selfish rogue to a dedicated leader, resonated with audiences. Fact 85. James Gunn's unique storytelling style was one of the driving forces behind the success of Guardians of the Galaxy. Known for his work in the indie film world, Gunn brought a fresh perspective to the superhero genre. He infused the film with a sense of heart and authenticity that was often missing from other blockbuster films. His ability to blend humor, action, and emotional depth helped to make Guardians not just another superhero movie, but a story about family, redemption, and finding strength in unlikely places. Gunn's signature style helped shape the tone of the MCU's cosmic side. Fact 86. The Guardians of the Galaxy films are notable for their ability to mix high stakes with lighthearted moments. While the characters are dealing with some heavy issues, such as loss, redemption, and personal identity, the film still finds moments of humor and joy. This blend of emotion and comedy is a hallmark of the Guardians films and sets them apart from other entries in the MCU. The Guardians are flawed individuals who make mistakes, but they also have a sense of humor and a willingness to laugh at themselves, which makes them both relatable and lovable. Fact 87. The film's villain, Ronan the Accuser, was portrayed by Lee Pace, who brought a sense of gravitas and intensity to the role. Ronan's character was driven by a deep-seated rage against the universe, particularly against Thanos, whom he sees as a betrayer. His desire for revenge and his quest for the orb, which contains an infinity stone, makes him a formidable foe. However, Ronan's motivations are rooted in personal loss and a desire to impose his own sense of justice on the universe, which makes him a complex and multidimensional villain. Fact 88. The final battle in Guardians of the Galaxy is a testament to the emotional growth of the characters. What begins as a battle to save Xandar from Ronan's wrath ultimately becomes a fight for the Guardians' place in the universe. In this moment, they aren't just fighting for survival, they are fighting for each other. Each Guardian, despite their flaws and differences, has come to understand that they are stronger together. This unity, forged through shared experiences, personal sacrifices, and moments of vulnerability, is what enables them to face Ronan and defeat his forces. Fact 89. The character of Drax the Destroyer was an essential part of the Guardians of the Galaxy team, not only because of his physical strength, but also because of the emotional depth he brought to the film. Drax's quest for vengeance after the loss of his family to Ronan is a deeply personal motivation, and his humor is often tinged with sadness. His journey is one of healing, as he learns to forge bonds with the Guardians and begin to move past his grief. Drax's transformation from a lone Avenger to a member of the team is one of the film's most poignant arcs. Fact 90. Guardians of the Galaxy is a story about misfits finding a family, and each character's backstory contributes to this central theme. Star-Lord, abandoned as a child and taken by aliens, seeks belonging among a team of strangers. Gamora, adopted and raised by the villainous Thanos, struggles with her identity and her past. Rocket, a genetically altered raccoon, hides his vulnerability behind his brash attitude, while Drax is consumed by grief. Through their shared experiences and growing trust, the Guardians come to realize that family is not always defined by blood, but by loyalty, love, and shared purpose. Fact 91. The character of Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana, underwent a significant transformation from her first appearance in the MCU to her later films. In Guardians of the Galaxy, Gamora begins as a stoic, emotionally guarded warrior who is unsure of where her loyalties lie. She is the adopted daughter of Thanos, a ruthless tyrant who raised her to be an assassin. However, as the film progresses, Gamora's emotional vulnerability and her desire to break free from Thanos' control becomes central to her character arc. Her eventual bond with the Guardians and her decision to fight for redemption form a key emotional element of the story. Fact 92. The film's opening, with Star-Lord dancing through a deserted alien planet while listening to Come and Get Your Love, immediately sets the tone for Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a moment that showcases the character's carefree, fun-loving nature while also hinting at the deeper emotional journey he'll go on. The use of music in the opening scene, along with Star-Lord's quirky actions, contrasts sharply with the more serious, emotional moments that follow. This balance between lighthearted humor and emotional weight is one of the things that made the film so successful and relatable to audiences. Fact 93. One of the unique challenges in making Guardians of the Galaxy was creating the world of the Nova Corps. This cosmic police force, which plays a key role in the film, was designed to reflect a utopian civilization, yet one that is ultimately overwhelmed by the events surrounding Ronan's attack. The Nova Corps was given a sleek, futuristic look, but also had to convey a sense of military discipline and strength. The filmmakers worked hard to create a visual identity for the Nova Corps that felt both otherworldly and grounded in reality, creating an intriguing layer to the universe. Fact 94. Ronan the Accuser, the film's primary antagonist, was a character whose motivations were driven by both personal pain and a desire for power. Played by Lee Pace, Ronan was originally a Kree zealot who had a deep hatred for Thanos and the universe. His anger was rooted in his belief that the universe was unjust, particularly after the destruction of his people. Ronan's journey in Guardians of the Galaxy is about seeking vengeance for his losses, but it also reflects a broader theme of how unchecked anger can destroy not only the object of hatred, but also the person harboring it. Fact 95. The visual effects in Guardians of the Galaxy were groundbreaking, especially in the creation of Rocket, the CGI raccoon. Rocket was brought to life using advanced motion capture technology, with Bradley Cooper providing the voice and motion capture performance. The team worked closely with Cooper to ensure that Rocket's facial expressions and body movements were true to his character's personality, balancing the raccoon's wild, chaotic energy with moments of vulnerability. The result was a character who felt real, despite being entirely computer generated, showing the remarkable advances in CGI technology and its ability to create emotionally complex characters. Fact 96. One of the recurring themes throughout Guardians of the Galaxy is the idea of found family. The Guardians, all of whom begin the film as isolated individuals, come together to form a close-knit group that relies on each other for support, trust, and friendship. The film shows that family doesn't always have to be blood-related. It can be chosen, built through shared experiences, and rooted in love and loyalty. This theme resonates deeply with audiences who can relate to the idea of finding a sense of belonging and connection even in the most unlikely of circumstances. Fact 97. Star-Lord's iconic mixtape, The Awesome Mix Volume 1 is more than just a soundtrack, it is an extension of his character. Compiled by his mother before her death, the mixtape represents his connection to her and to Earth. The songs on the tape, which span a wide range of genres and emotions, are chosen to reflect Star-Lord's inner world. Each track tells a story and adds depth to the film's narrative. The mixtape also serves as a way for Star-Lord to hold on to his past, even as he faces the future among the Guardians. Fact 98. The character of Groot, despite having only one line, "I am Groot," is one of the most emotionally impactful figures in Guardians of the Galaxy. Groot's limited speech adds to his charm, but it is his actions and the way he expresses emotion through his body language that make him so endearing. His ultimate sacrifice, when he shields the Guardians from danger by growing into a protective, living barrier, is a poignant moment that highlights the deep love and selflessness he has for his newfound family. Groot's sacrifice stands as a powerful reminder of the strength of emotional connections. Fact 99. The humor in Guardians of the Galaxy is often rooted in the dynamic between the characters, each of whom brings something unique to the table. Star-Lord's quick wit and sarcastic remarks contrast with Gamora's no-nonsense attitude, Rocket's biting humor, and Drax's literal interpretations. This mixture of personalities creates a perfect balance of comedy and drama. The Guardians are able to take the most absurd situations in stride, often finding humor in the most unlikely of places, and their ability to laugh at themselves only strengthens their bond as a team. Fact 100. The success of Guardians of the Galaxy was not just a triumph for Marvel Studios, but for the genre of superhero films as a whole. It proved that a film about lesser-known characters could become a major hit, both critically and commercially. The film's ability to blend humor, heart, and action, along with its unforgettable characters, made it a standout entry in the MCU. The success of Guardians helped pave the way for other cosmic-based Marvel films, and it also proved that even in a world full of established superheroes, new heroes could rise to the occasion. Fact 101. One of the most memorable parts of Guardians of the Galaxy is its visual style, which blends retro elements with futuristic concepts. The film's cosmic landscapes, such as the vibrant city of Xandar and the hauntingly strange Nowhere, were designed to feel both fantastical and lived in. The production team drew inspiration from 1970s and 1980s science fiction, creating a unique look that felt timeless, even though it was set in a futuristic, outer space world. The contrast between the natural world of Earth and the vast, uncharted regions of space added to the sense of adventure and mystery. Fact 102. The character of Drax, portrayed by Dave Bautista, is often the source of comic relief in the Guardians of the Galaxy films, but his backstory is one of deep personal loss and tragedy. Drax's entire family was killed by Ronan the Accuser, leaving him with a thirst for vengeance. His stoic, no-nonsense demeanor is often punctuated by his literal interpretations of the world around him, which adds humor to his character. Drax's journey is one of healing and self-acceptance, as he learns to become part of a team and build connections with the Guardians. Fact 103. The role of Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy was essential for setting up the larger MCU narrative. Played by Josh Brolin, Thanos' brief appearances in the film hinted at the significant role he would play in future films. His quest for the Infinity Stones became the central thread linking many MCU films, culminating in Avengers, Infinity War, and Avengers Endgame. Thanos' complex character, driven by his desire to impose his own vision of balance on the universe, introduced audiences to a villain who was not just evil for the sake of it, but someone with deeply philosophical motives. Fact 104: one of the most heartwarming moments in Guardians of the Galaxy is Groot's ultimate sacrifice to save his friends. As the Guardians face Ronan's wrath, Groot uses his powers to create a protective barrier around the team, knowing that it will cost him his life. When he says, "We are Groot," it's not just a declaration of unity, it's an affirmation of the bond the Guardians have formed. Groot's selflessness serves as a powerful reminder that even in the face of death, the strength of love and friendship can create moments of true heroism. Fact 105: Guardians of the Galaxy was not just a typical superhero film, it was also a love letter to classic rock music from the 1970s and 1980s. The soundtrack, Awesome Mix Volume 1, was a crucial part of the film's success, with songs like Hooked on a Feeling and Cherry Bomb becoming instantly recognizable to audiences. The songs helped establish Star-Lord's character and his nostalgic connection to Earth, while also setting the tone for the film. The soundtrack was so beloved that it became one of the best-selling soundtracks of all time, further cementing its place in pop culture. Fact 106: James Gunn's approach to the film's humor was one of the key elements that set Guardians of the Galaxy apart from other superhero films. The humor was never forced or overdone. Instead, it felt natural and was woven into the characters' personalities. Drax's literal understanding of language, Rocket's sharp wit, and Star-Lord's sarcastic quips all provided a balance of levity amid the film's action and drama. This blend of humor and heart made Guardians of the Galaxy not only a fun ride, but also an emotionally resonant experience for viewers. Fact 107: the film's visual effects team worked tirelessly to bring the character of Rocket to life, with a focus on making the CGI raccoon appear as real as possible. Rocket's facial expressions, movements, and even the way his fur looked were all designed to reflect his personality. The team took special care in making sure that Rocket's eyes conveyed emotion, which helped to create a deeper connection with the audience. The use of motion capture technology, combined with Bradley Cooper's voice work, helped bring Rocket to life in a way that felt genuine and real, despite being a completely digital character. Fact 108: one of the most emotional aspects of Guardians of the Galaxy is its exploration of loss and how each character deals with their grief. Star-Lord, in particular, struggles with the loss of his mother, and his entire journey is driven by his attempt to reconcile his past with his present. Gamora's quest for redemption is motivated by the pain of being raised by Thanos, while Rocket's harsh exterior hides the deep pain he feels from being abandoned and experimented on. Drax's quest for vengeance stems from the tragic loss of his family. Each character's story of loss makes their eventual bond all the more powerful. Fact 109: in addition to its emotional depth, Guardians of the Galaxy also brought a fresh sense of style to the MCU. The film's aesthetic drew heavily on the 1970s and 1980s, incorporating elements of retro sci-fi, pop culture, and music. The design of the Guardian's spaceship, the Milano, was inspired by this era, with sleek lines and bold colors that made it feel both modern and nostalgic. The filmmakers wanted the film to feel like an adventure that could have taken place in any time, blending the old with the new to create a unique visual experience. Fact 110: the ensemble cast of Guardians of the Galaxy was a major factor in the film's success. Each actor brought their own unique energy to the film, from Chris Pratt's comedic charm as Star-Lord to Zoe Saldana's fierce but vulnerable portrayal of Gamora. Dave Bautista, who was best known for his wrestling career, brought a surprising depth to Drax, while Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel's voice work as Rocket and Groot gave the characters a surprising emotional range. The chemistry between the actors helped elevate the film's humor, heart, and action, making the Guardians feel like a real team. Fact 111: one of the most significant aspects of Guardians of the Galaxy is its unique approach to teamwork. The Guardians aren't your typical group of superheroes who are already united by a common cause. Instead, they start as a ragtag group of individuals with conflicting personalities and personal agendas. Over the course of the film, they come to realize that their greatest strength lies in their differences. Whether it's Star-Lord's leadership, Gamora's strength, Drax's revenge-driven fury, Rocket's wit, or Groot's silent wisdom, each member contributes in their own way, and it's this unity that makes them unstoppable. Fact 112: the character of Ronan the Accuser, played by Lee Pace, was a complex and multidimensional villain in Guardians of the Galaxy. His motivations weren't simply about seeking power or control, but were driven by personal loss and betrayal. Ronan's hatred for Thanos, his former ally, was rooted in a sense of dishonor and rejection. His quest to destroy Xandar and exact vengeance on the universe for his perceived injustices made him a formidable antagonist. Ronan's passion and unrelenting anger made him a compelling foil to the Guardians, highlighting the differences between his destructive force and their newfound unity. Fact 113: the design of the Guardians of the Galaxy film was heavily influenced by James Gunn's love for the space operas and science fiction stories of the 1970s and 1980s. Gunn, known for his quirky and irreverent filmmaking style, infused the film with a sense of nostalgia for these eras. The vibrant colors, eccentric alien creatures, and retro-futuristic technology all helped to create a universe that felt both fresh and familiar. Gunn's ability to blend past inspirations with modern filmmaking techniques was one of the reasons why the film stood out in the crowded superhero genre. Fact 114: the character of Groot is one of the most endearing and beloved in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, despite his limited vocabulary. His ability to communicate with just the phrase, "I am Groot," has become iconic, and much of Groot's character is conveyed through his actions and body language. The filmmakers used advanced motion capture technology to bring Groot to life, with Vin Diesel providing the voice and capturing the essence of the character. Groot's emotional journey from a stoic protector to a sacrificial hero resonated deeply with audiences, and his friendship with Rocket added another layer to his character. Fact 115: one of the standout features of Guardians of the Galaxy is its ability to balance comedy with high-stakes action and deep emotional moments. The humor in the film comes from the characters' witty banter, absurd situations, and Drax's literal interpretation of the world around him. However, the film also explores heavier themes, such as the characters' struggles with loss, grief, and redemption. This combination of lightheartedness and emotional depth made Guardians of the Galaxy more than just another action movie. It made it a film that connected with viewers on a personal level. Fact 116: the success of Guardians of the Galaxy was not just due to its characters and humor, but also its visual effects, which brought the cosmic universe to life in stunning detail. The film's environments, whether it was the glowing streets of Xandars or the desolate planet of Morag, were meticulously crafted to create a sense of wonder and scale. The design of spaceships, alien technology, and even the various creatures in the film added to the immersive experience. The visual effects team worked tirelessly to ensure that each scene looked as vibrant and dynamic as the story it was telling. Fact 117: the relationship between Star-Lord and Gamora evolves throughout Guardians of the Galaxy, from one of distrust and rivalry to a deep, mutual respect. Initially, Gamora is focused on her own mission, and Star-Lord is driven by selfish desires. However, as the story progresses, their shared experiences allow them to open up to one another. Star-Lord's emotional vulnerability, especially regarding his mother's death, helps to break down Gamora's walls. Their bond, while still developing by the end of the film, becomes a pivotal part of their future relationship and forms the foundation for their shared journey. Fact 118: Guardians of the Galaxy was a risk for Marvel Studios, as it introduced a group of relatively obscure characters who were not well known to the general public. However, James Gunn's unique visions for the film turned out to be a massive success. The film's humor, heart, and unforgettable characters resonated with both comic book fans and casual moviegoers alike. The film's success demonstrated that even lesser known characters could have a place in the MCU, opening the door for more experimental films and new characters to be introduced into the ever expanding Marvel Universe. Fact 119: the film's action sequences were expertly choreographed to match the personalities of the characters. Star-Lord's quick thinking and agility allowed for some thrilling hand-to-hand combat scenes, while Rocket and Groot's abilities provided moments of explosive action. Drax's sheer strength made his scenes stand out, especially when facing off against Ronan. The action was never just for spectacle, it was a reflection of each Guardian's skills and their growing teamwork. These sequences were strategically placed throughout the film to complement the emotional beats and character growth, ensuring the story never lost its personal stakes. Fact 120: the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise quickly became a fan favorite within the MCU, not only because of its strong character development, but also because of its rich world building. The cosmic side of the MCU, introduced in this film, allowed for endless possibilities. The introduction of different planets, alien species, and organizations such as the Nova Corps added complexity to the Marvel Universe, making it feel expansive. The film's ability to create a unique corner of the MCU that was both grounded in emotion and full of adventure helped solidify its place in cinematic history. Fact 121: the Guardians of the Galaxy films are known for their fantastic soundtracks, which play a key role in the film's tone and narrative. The use of Awesome Mix Volume 1 in the first film, with its nostalgic 1970s and 1980s tracks, perfectly captured Star-Lord's emotional connection to Earth, where he had been taken from as a child. The soundtrack not only set the tone for the film, but also became a character in itself, providing context to Star-Lord's backstory and highlighting the importance of music in his life. The success of the soundtrack was undeniable, topping charts and becoming an iconic part of the film. Fact 122: Rocket's character, despite being a genetically modified raccoon, was far from a simple comic relief. His background of being subjected to cruel experiments and his struggle with his identity added a layer of complexity to his character. Rocket's abrasive exterior hides a deep well of vulnerability and pain. He struggles with feelings of abandonment and inferiority, which make his moments of tenderness with Groot even more poignant. Rocket's journey of self acceptance and his deepening bond with the Guardians are central to his growth as a character, allowing him to evolve from a bitter loner to a beloved member of the team. Fact 123: One of the film's most unique features is how it uses humor to soften the more emotional and intense moments. The humor comes from the characters' distinct personalities and the absurd situations they find themselves in. Drax's literal interpretation of metaphors, Star-Lord's constant teasing, and Rocket's sarcastic wit create a dynamic that not only entertains but also helps to relieve tension. Yet underneath the humor, the film addresses real emotions such as loss, redemption, and identity. This balance between comedy and emotional depth was crucial to the film's success and is a hallmark of Guardians of the Galaxy. Fact 124: The film's director, James Gunn, brought a distinct voice to Guardians of the Galaxy that set it apart from other superhero films in the MCU. Known for his work on Slither and Super, Gunn infused the film with a unique blend of humor, heart, and irreverence. He also made sure that the character development was at the forefront of the story. Gunn's ability to balance the large scale action with intimate, character driven moments was one of the reasons Guardians of the Galaxy resonated so strongly with audiences. His vision transformed the film from a space adventure into a deeply personal journey. Fact 125: The character of Drax was originally conceived as a very serious and grim character, but Dave Bautista's portrayal brought a surprising layer of humor and vulnerability to him. Drax's emotional arc, driven by his thirst for vengeance after the death of his family, added a depth to his character. However, it was Bautista's comedic timing and deadpan delivery that helped make Drax a standout character. His literal interpretations of language and his earnestness in the face of absurdity brought an extra layer of humor to the film, making Drax one of the most memorable characters in the Guardians series. Fact 126: One of the key moments in the first Guardians of the Galaxy film is the formation of the team itself. Initially, the Guardians are a group of unlikely individuals who have little in common and a lot of reasons to distrust each other. However, over the course of the film, they come together as a team and form a bond based on mutual respect, loyalty, and shared experiences. This moment of unity is pivotal not just to the film's plot, but to the heart of the Guardians of the Galaxy story, which is about finding family where you least expect it. Fact 127: The film's villain, Ronan the Accuser, is a complex character whose motivations go beyond simple villainy. His anger and hatred are born from a deep sense of betrayal and loss. Ronan's rage against Thanos, whom he once considered an ally, is what drives him throughout the film. His desire to destroy Xandar and take control of the orb reflects his belief that he is the only one capable of bringing about real change to the universe. However, Ronan's single minded pursuit of vengeance ultimately blinds him to the value of teamwork and cooperation, making him a tragic and flawed character. Fact 128. In addition to the well known characters like Star Lord, Gamora, Rocket, and Groot, Guardians of the Galaxy also introduced audiences to the world of the Nova Corps. The Nova Corps serves as the peacekeeping force of the galaxy, and their technology and uniform designs were a crucial part of the film's world building. The Nova Corps are depicted as a disciplined and noble organization, but they also serve as a contrast to the Guardians' chaotic and often irreverent behavior. The interaction between the two groups provides both humor and tension, as the Guardians often clash with the more rigid structure of the Nova Corps. Fact 129. The character of Groot was brought to life through the combined efforts of Vin Diesel, the voice actor, and the film's visual effects team. Groot's limited dialogue, "I am Groot," could have easily made him a one-dimensional character, but Diesel's performance, combined with the visual team's attention to detail, made him one of the most beloved characters in the franchise. Groot's ability to convey emotion through his eyes, body language, and simple gestures made him a complex character, despite his limited vocabulary. His bond with Rocket, as well as his ultimate sacrifice, endeared him to audiences worldwide. Fact 130. The Guardians of the Galaxy films are not only about the characters' emotional growth, but also about their individual legacies. Each Guardian has a past that shapes who they are, and the film allows each character to grow, learn, and evolve. Star-Lord's journey is about reconciling with his past and accepting his role as a leader. Gamora's story is about redemption and breaking free from Thanos' control. Rocket's growth is about learning to trust others, and Groot's arc is about self-sacrifice. By the end of the first film, the Guardians have all found a place where they belong, and their individual legacies are forever intertwined. Fact 131. One of the most iconic elements of Guardians of the Galaxy is its use of humor to balance the film's darker moments. The film's blend of comedy and action made it stand out in the MCU. Each character, from the sarcastic Star-Lord to the literal Drax, brought their own style of humor to the group. This comedic approach helped ease the tension in what could have been a dark and heavy narrative, making the film accessible and enjoyable to a wide range of audiences. The humor in Guardians of the Galaxy made the stakes feel personal, even in the vastness of space. Fact 132. Guardians of the Galaxy also features some of the most memorable space battles in the MCU. The final battle with Ronan the Accuser, where the Guardians come together to fight for the fate of Xandar, is a culmination of everything they've learned throughout the film. Their personal growth, emotional journeys, and newfound sense of unity are all tested in this moment. It's not just about defeating Ronan, it's about the Guardians proving to themselves and each other that they are no longer outcasts, but a team that can accomplish anything when they work together. Fact 133. The film's opening sequence, where Star-Lord dances and sings along to "Come and Get Your Love," sets the tone for the rest of the movie. It's a moment of pure joy and whimsy, a reminder that Star-Lord, despite his tough exterior, is still a man deeply connected to his past. The moment also foreshadows the importance of music in the film, with Star-Lord's connection to the mixtape serving as a central theme. This moment of lightheartedness is immediately followed by a more serious turn, showcasing the film's ability to juggle different emotions seamlessly. Fact 134. One of the most striking aspects of Guardians of the Galaxy is its commitment to world building. The film introduces audiences to a wide array of planets, each with its own unique design and atmosphere. The Nova Corps headquarters, for example, is a sleek, futuristic city that feels both expansive and refined. In contrast, the desolate, mysterious space station of nowhere is a chaotic and dangerous place, full of strange creatures and shady dealings. The filmmakers worked hard to make sure that each location had a distinct identity, helping to immerse viewers in the rich and diverse universe of the Guardians. Fact 135. The character of Rocket is one of the most complex and beloved in the Guardians of the Galaxy series. Despite being a genetically modified raccoon, Rocket is deeply relatable and human in his struggles. His sarcastic and brash exterior hides a character who is deeply scarred by his past, full of feelings of inadequacy and loneliness. Rocket's emotional journey, where he learns to trust others and allow himself to be vulnerable, adds a powerful dimension to his character. His bond with Groot is especially important, as it shows that even the most hardened individuals can form meaningful connections. Fact 136. The chemistry between the cast members is one of the key reasons Guardians of the Galaxy works so well. Each actor brought their own unique energy to their respective characters, and their interactions with one another feel natural and authentic. Chris Pratt's Star-Lord is the charming, quick-witted leader, while Zoe Saldana's Gamora brings strength and vulnerability to her role. Dave Bautista's Drax is both intimidating and comical, and Bradley Cooper's voice, work as Rocket, provides the perfect balance of humor and heart. The ensemble cast's dynamic helps to make the Guardians feel like a real family, with each member contributing to the team in their own way. Fact 137. One of the most memorable lines in the film comes when Rocket exclaims, "I'm not some rabid dog, all right?" This line, which is delivered with a mix of humor and defensiveness, is a perfect example of Rocket's complex character. He may appear to be a tough, sarcastic animal, but this line shows his vulnerability and the pain he carries from being experimented on. It's a reminder that Rocket, like all the Guardians, has a past filled with hardship, and his journey in the film is about learning to trust others and accept help from those who care about him. Fact 138. The success of Guardians of the Galaxy also helped to pave the way for other cosmic-based films in the MCU, such as Doctor Strange and Captain Marvel. By introducing audiences to a different side of the MCU, one that wasn't solely focused on Earth, the Guardians films opened the door for a broader range of stories to be told. The cosmic elements of the MCU have since become a crucial part of the overarching narrative, providing a sense of vastness and scale that allows the universe to feel truly limitless. Fact 139. The themes of family and redemption are central to the Guardians of the Galaxy story. Each Guardian has a troubled past and a sense of isolation, but by the end of the first film, they've formed a strong bond with one another. Star-Lord learns to let go of his grief over his mother's death and embraces his role as a leader. Gamora seeks redemption for her past actions, and Rocket comes to terms with his identity. Groot's sacrifice is a powerful symbol of the selflessness that has developed among the team. Ultimately, the Guardians become a family, united by love and loyalty. Fact 140. Guardians of the Galaxy is a film that defied expectations in every way. What began as a relatively unknown comic book series was transformed into one of the MCU's most successful and beloved films. The combination of humor, heart, action, and visual spectacle made the film a standout entry in the Marvel Universe. The characters, each with their own flaws and struggles, became icons in their own right, proving that even the most unlikely heroes can leave a lasting impact. The success of Guardians of the Galaxy solidified the cosmic side of the MCU and introduced audiences to a universe filled with endless possibilities. Thank you for drifting with me through the vast universe of Guardians of the Galaxy. May the stars above continue to shine brightly on your dreams, and may you find peace as you rest. As we close tonight's journey, may your mind find a place of quiet serenity, just as the Guardians found their family. Good night, and may your heart be filled with the warmth of the adventure we've shared.